Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with the video. So honestly, I don't know what to make of this, and that's why I'm leaving the opinion of deciding whether my sister-in-law is the bigger a-hole or the waiter that she screamed at to the readers of this post. So when my sister-in-law said that she's out of money and had to reel in her expenses until next month, I was a bit surprised. Not because people can't go broke. I know all too well what it's like to save every penny to last until the month's end. But now it's been too long since I had to worry about such things. And for that matter, neither does my sister in law should worry about these things, as she's financially quite well. I asked her what she wanted exactly. She said her birthday's coming and that she was planning to throw a big party. But now, as she finds herself in a bit of a situation and can't do that, she expects me to throw a party for her. Now, I adore my sister in law, and even if she hadn't asked, I was planning to do something for her birthday. So obviously, I agreed, and she made a particular request about how she really wanted to go to this specific lounge, and I should keep that as the venue. I didn't mind and said, of course, I'll do that. Boy, if I had known how things would turn out to be, I would have declined her request on the spot. So when we reached the lounge, everyone went about enjoying themselves. People were dancing, drinking, and helping themselves to food. I was with my sister-in-law at the private booths when my sister-in-law specifically asked for a waiter to serve us that day. That sounded suspicious, but it's her birthday and she could do whatever she wants. The waiter arrived, and next minute I saw him shooting daggers at her. I could actually feel the happy vibe go down a notch. From the look my sister-in-law was giving to him, it looks like there was some history between them. When the waiter started taking our order, she purposely asked him to recite the menu, even though there were menu cards in front of each of us. Then she changed her order thrice and told the waiter to get lost now and let us enjoy our evening. That was way too rude for my comfort, so I asked her what was up with her. She told me it's nothing and that she's just making sure that the waiter knows his place. I told her that she's being rude and should stop behaving like this. She promptly steered the conversation to other topics, and I couldn't help but let go of the matter. After a while, when the waiter arrived, she sent her order back, saying it's cold, and then again returned her order, saying it doesn't taste good and that she'd like to change it. At this point, she was positively shouting at him for doing a pathetic job and not knowing how to serve customers. The waiter just took the order and left. Now, I knew full well there wasn't any way I could stop my sister-in-law from doing something that she sets her mind to, and it looked like she had made up her mind of making this waiter's night a living hell. I decided to quietly watch the show and try to figure out what the situation was. We then went to dance and mix in with her friends and some of my guests too, as I was the hostess. Soon I was separated from my sister-in-law. The next moment I saw her, she was engaged in a shouting match with the same waiter. Sensing the situation wasn't going to improve, if left alone, I went to her and asked what happened. She said the waiter purposely spilt drink on her, and now she refuses to apologize. The waiter said it was her fault for not seeing what she's walking into, and that she's the one who should apologize for her attitude. Honestly, at this point, my sister-in-law was on the verge of tears, so I took her to the restroom to get her dress dried. Clearly, something big had happened between them, and I was dying of curiosity, so I asked her what's the matter between them, and she started sobbing. Once she gained control over herself, she said that she was going out with that guy not long ago, and he cheated on her. Not only that, the girl he cheated with was none other than one of her colleagues from her office. Apparently, they all used to come here, and she found him cute and asked him out. She had no idea that he'd be two-timing her with one of her colleagues. And now that it's her birthday, she wanted to come here and humiliate him, just like he humiliated her. She wanted to show him his real place. I didn't know what to make of this. She was taking revenge like a child. But what can I even do at this point? So I left her to her antiques and just went and grabbed a drink and settled at the bar. Once it was time, I asked the bartender to let the kitchen know to bring out the cake. He went inside the side door, and a while later I saw my sister-in-law's ex-boyfriend, our waiter, bringing out the trolley with the cake on it. I also happened to witness him pretend to trip on his own shoes and pull the cake down with her. That was the last straw that pushed my sister-in-law into an absolute fit of rage. She asked for the manager and demanded that the waiter should be fired. She threw her own drink at him and said this guy ruined her whole birthday party. She told them that she's going to ruin this place's reputation unless the lounge got rid of this guy. The manager was busy apologizing continuously to my sister-in-law. He told her that they'll be taking full responsibility for what happened and that proper punishment will be issued to the staff involved. They also said that they'll put this event on the house and we don't have to pay them. My sister-in-law even calmed down and left with her friend. The guests also went after seeing the party come to an end like this. Before I left, I talked to the manager and told him that there's no need to fire the waiter as he suffered enough tonight for what he did. As for the cost of arranging everything, they should make sure to include the bakery fees into it, as eventually a party was ruined and they didn't do anything to stop that from happening. Now, I know many of you might think that the business owner suffered losses because of a petty squabble, but hey, someone had to pay for it. And if they were offering, I wasn't going to refuse. I'll eventually end up taking my sister-in-law's side, but who do you guys think is the real a-hole in this situation? The guy who cheated on someone and brought about this whole revenge, or the person who went about ruining many people's nights just for the sake of petty revenge? So it's been a month since my sister-in-law's birthday, and many of you might remember my original post about her situation with this guy who cheated on her. Yesterday, I went back to the lounge that he used to wait at. It was purely out of curiosity because I haven't heard much about the situation after that night from my sister-in-law, and I was wondering about what happened to the guy. This might also be because my life is going through a dull phase at the moment. Since I know asking my sister-in-law would result in her awkwardly leaving the house under some fake urgency, I decided to go to the lounge with my friends. So yesterday, I ended up at that lounge and requested a private booth. When our waiter came, we politely ordered our drinks. I asked him if we could get a waiter I know. I told him his name, but he said that that's no one by that name who works there. So he really was fired, I guess. I wondered where he must be working now. I excused myself from the group under the disguise of using the restroom. I decided the best way to inquire about someone is to ask the bartender. So I went straight to the bar and ordered another drink. He was someone different from the last time we came, so I started chit-chatting with him. I asked him where the other bartender was and broached the subject of that cute waiter who used to work here. Obviously, because people are more forthcoming with information if you're someone with a crush. He said he remembers that guy and that he's sad the guy quit. Now, I was confused because I thought he was fired, so why did the bartender say that he quit? Either way, I wasn't able to find out any more information. All in all, we had a good time at the lounge and came back. Who knows, maybe I'll ask my sister-in-law if she had any contact with him. If I find out anything anymore, I'll leave another update. Holy crap, you guys, remember me? If you don't, you should go read my original post on my profile from about 8 months ago. Anyway, you won't believe what happened. That a-hole who cheated on my sister-in-law, we found him. So I was out eating with my sister-in-law and we were trying this new cafe that recently opened up. He's the manager there. Yes, that waiter is now a manager. And not only that, he remembers us vividly. I mean, considering how he had to quit because of us, it's given, but still. Not only does he remember us, it seems like he was hell-bent on making our brunch a nightmare. Because we had a horrible service there. The waiter didn't come to take our order for 15 minutes. And once we did give our order, it took about 55 minutes to bring us a latte and an almond milk coffee. We were seriously about to leave at that point, but then the waiter said the kitchen was having some issues. And just as we were about to pay, we saw the check had something written on it. The waiter said their manager personally printed the bill for our table, and sure enough, there was a scribble telling us that we are banned from there. My sister-in-law was fuming after she found out who the manager actually was. Either way, that a-hole banned us from that cafe. Not like I cared after that horrible service anyway, but still it was a strike to my ego that he could do that. My sister-in-law left right after for her home, and we haven't talked about the incident since. But if I have to guess, she must be planning her next revenge. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of this a-hole. At the end of it all, were we in the wrong too? EAH. Bruh, everyone here is an a-hole. The guy who cheated and two-timed the girl. The sister-in-law who couldn't walk away from the situation with her dignity and had to take an immature revenge in a way that ended up harming the business and its employees. And especially the OP who just kept enjoying it all and didn't even pay for the damages. NTA, I mean, I kind of understand where you're coming from. The guy was an absolute piece of crap and deserved to lose the job, but I still feel bad how the lounge got roped up in the petty squabble. Also, the sister-in-law who inadvertently ended up ruining her own birthday? What an a-hole for putting all her friends through that embarrassing evening. I have two kids, and I'm currently 7 months pregnant. I am a stay at home parent. My kids are in grade school and preschool. When my second child was born, I developed postpartum depression, and my mother in law started helping out with the kids more. I was very grateful at first, and I was able to get medicated and start therapy. However, it seems that my husband has enlisted her to help out more and more. She picks the kids up from school every day. She will pack lunches for them and drop them off a few times a week. She insists they sleep over at her place on Friday nights and now sometimes Saturdays. My kids have told me that she told them that I am too sick sometimes to take care of them, and they're lucky to have her, which is true in the past, but not now. I have told my husband that I am capable of picking them up from school, and she doesn't need to always bring them lunches and all these other little things. She says she's retired and has nothing better to do, and that he's worried about me, that I'm too stressed out with the baby coming and dealing with the kids already. I feel stressed because I feel like she's taking on the role of a mother for me. Yesterday, she picked the kids up and was 2.5 hours late dropping them off. She doesn't have a cell phone, so I was panicking, thinking the worst case scenario had happened. And she came home and said that she took them to the mall to buy them sandals for summer because my husband had mentioned they need them. I had told my husband that, but I also said I would take them shopping this weekend because I want to do things with my kids. I ended up yelling at her in front of the kids and telling her that she is not their mom and that she needs to tell me where she went. My husband is upset and said I acted inappropriately because she was just being helpful and I shouldn't have yelled in front of the kids. He also said it might not be best for me to go to the mall with them since I am so pregnant. I asked the Facebook Moms group for advice, but they said I'm in the wrong because I should be grateful for having so much extra help. But I feel crazy, like I'm losing my kids to my mother in law. Am I wrong? Should I apologize? I've called my mom, and she is going to come close to due date and stay with us after I give birth. Some of these comments are giving me more stress because I don't think I am being abused, but this has given me a lot to think about. So I'm grateful that my mom is able to come. And she was horrified to hear that my mother in law and husband were planning to take my kids away for 2 weeks. So thankfully, that won't be happening. I'm going to talk to him about couples counseling as well and see if that can help with this. Also, the reason I haven't just done the things is because I am nervous if I show up at the school when she's planned to do it, and I will be causing problems by wasting her time, since she does not have a cell phone, so I can't let her know ahead of time. I also do make their lunches, but my mother in law will either bring them right after school or before I have a chance to make them for the next day. If I make lunch sometimes, my husband will give it to the kids as a snack because it's already been done for the next day. I could make lunch for the next day in the morning before dropping them off for school, or during the day when I'm at home, but that's just not what I am used to. But I could do that going forward. I'm capable of doing these things. I guess everyone has a point. I should be stronger and just take action, but I feel like I'd be causing more problems since these things have already been decided for me, and it feels like 2 against 1 telling me that I shouldn't. NTA, your mother in law took your kids for 2 hours without telling you where she went? I don't know how people are saying YTA for being upset about that. I would be panicking as well. That is completely inappropriate of her. Also, your husband seems to be dismissing your feelings completely and deciding what you need for you. That is a red flag. I agree with people saying the issue is with your husband because why is he not listening to you at all? I have a daughter, Chloe, 21, with my ex. When she was 7, we had a messy divorce. He didn't want me to leave and made it very clear to Chloe. After the divorce, I met my husband, Jack. We started dating while Chloe was 8, but she was 9 when she finally met him. Chloe did not accept the relationship and wanted nothing to do with him, and my ex certainly didn't help. Sometimes I had to work the lates, so I had an idea and told Jack to basically take her out to ice cream when I was late. While Chloe hated him, she wouldn't say no to dessert. So basically, he framed it as sneaking ice cream when mom's at work. The bribery worked pretty quickly, and she came around to liking him. Nowadays, she's closer to Jack than her father, and even calls Jack Dad. And sometimes I think she's closer to him than me. So Chloe is currently 7 months pregnant. She was over yesterday, and we were talking about everything. We talked about us as grandparents, and I joked that we'll try not to sneak our granddaughter away for ice creams. Chloe was surprised and didn't realize I knew about it. I explained what I said above, and that obviously he's not going to just take his girlfriend's daughter out so often without telling her. For some reason, Chloe got really upset about it. She basically said we lied to her and manipulated her, and that I shouldn't think she's cheap to buy her love and invade her privacy, and stormed off. I honestly didn't think this would be such a big deal. She hasn't responded to me or Jack after she left till today. Jack is annoyed with me and says that I didn't have to say anything, though he doesn't seem to know why she's so upset either. She got along with him so well. I don't understand why it not being a secret would ruin anything. Maybe buying her love wasn't great, but she wasn't giving him a chance. None of it was an insult. I just wasn't thinking and forgot that we never explained it to her. She clearly thinks I'm wrong, and Jack isn't happy. AITA? Was it wrong to reveal? NAH. The ice cream story seems so sweet and benign to me. I can't imagine that OP had bad intentions in revealing it. It's unfortunate that it impacted Chloe in the way that it did. Hopefully, she'll come to terms with it someday and see the sweetness in it too. There could also be other relationship dynamics at play here. If Chloe has often felt like OP is dismissive, intrusive, or controlling of her, maybe that's coming out in her reaction here, in which case there are other things to talk about.